If a screenwriter says, oh, I'm writing right now, they're just procrastinating. They're not writing.
No one is going into any of these things with bad intentions.
The little monkey boy, like, it breaks my heart.
He's so freaking cute.
Hey guys, welcome back to the VHS Revolution Show. My name is David Schumann, and today I have two amazing guests. They are Nick Curcio and Kristen Tepper. They are screenwriters. You might have seen them on TikTok and Instagram. They also host a podcast together called The Hollywood Hang. And they picked a great movie for today's Rewind. It's Jumanji. So without further ado, let's get to today's episode featuring Nick and Kristen. Okay, welcome back to the VHS Revolution Show. My guests, plural, today are Nick Curcio and Kristen Tepper. They are the hosts of The Hollywood Hang, the podcast all about Hollywood and filmmaking and screenwriting. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here, both of you.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
When I hear screenwriters talk about screenwriting and they say, oh, I'm writing, does writing actually mean you're writing the script? Or does it mean that you're working on the outline or the character backstories? Or how much of screenwriting is actual writing of dialogue?
If a screenwriter says, oh, I'm writing right now, they're just procrastinating. They're not writing.
Yeah.
No, it's, like so much of it. We just had this episode with this screenwriter, Alex Convery, who wrote Air. And we were kind of talking about that a little bit of, like, you can spend so much time as a screenwriter not actually writing. So, like, for example, if you're pitching on something, then technically you're writing, but it's more of like a prose treatment. So and you might just be reorganizing that over and over and doing notes and rewriting it. So you're not writing like a script. So like a pitch, you're not technically writing pages. Or you could be like, maybe there's a script that exists and you're going to get a job rewriting it. But once again, you're just putting together your thoughts to tell them what you would do in theory. So that's like another way that you might not actually be writing. It's definitely, like I sometimes have to tell myself, make sure you have something you're literally writing, because otherwise, there's just a lot of ways that you are writing but not writing.
Do you think that, how should I say this, that you can't really judge a screenwriter's work based on IMDb?
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't know is that they'll go to IMDb and they'll say like, oh, this person, we're going to get to Jumanji in a minute, but one of the writers of Jumanji only has like, one or two major credits. But the truth is that you guys are constantly working on things, constantly pitching things. Things will get, go into development, but then get canceled. Or there's a lot of screenwriters work on way more things than they actually, finish or that get made. Is that true for you?
The working screeners I know have probably, to get produced is the dream. They have been paid 10 times, 20 times, almost 30 times for writing scripts that no one has ever seen. So like they really wrote a screenplay. They are a screenwriter. It's just that produced like ticket is really what a lot of people are looking for. Like, I think that was like when I got into this industry, everyone was like, if you can get something produced, do whatever you need to do to get that to happen. And
that's just because statistically, like, a studio's job is to develop like this many scripts, but then once those are all written, they're going to read them all and be like, okay, a bunch of these aren't exactly what we wanted, but like this one has some potential, but it's not quite right. Let's hire another writer to rewrite that one to get it ready to hopefully get made. So it's like, statistically, most of the things you get paid for just don't get made. But it's truly crazy. Like, there are people who, I would say on average, like, there's some people that get lucky. But I think for successful screenwriters who are getting paid and making a living, like, it can take, 5-10 years of just writing stuff and being paid really well, because your quote will keep going up and you gain a reputation, but still nothing that's necessarily getting made. And so, that can be like another frustrating thing on TikTok of, I've gotten plenty of comments of people that are like, you don't even have any credits. And I was like, well, I do have this movie coming out next year, but also, like, I have these other things I've written for studios, but they're just, not made yet. And so it's, yeah, it can be hard because you don't really have those credits to show for it, but people in the industry know that that's kind of the way it goes.
Okay, let's rewind back 30 years to 1995 and your pick of Jumanji. Can you both tell me why you picked Jumanji?
So the funny thing is, even though Tepper and I talk like multiple times a day, usually we've never really gone in deep on like I think we both know each other's taste, but we've never really been like, oh, by the way, what influenced you when you were a kid? Like I know your taste now. I know what movies you're gonna like, and or I tell you like, don't go see this horror movie. This is too much for you. So when you brought that up, of like, the first thought in my head was like, oh, do we have a movie that we would both like that is like, it's gonna be different? And the first movie she mentioned was Jumanji, and I was like, oh my god, like that was like one of my favorite movies as a kid. Like, we are more similar than we thought.
I had seen it probably 28, 29 years ago, but it was not a movie that was in my regular rotation, even though I love Robin Williams and I love the work of Joe Johnston, the director. What is it about Jumanji that you both love so much?
The adult screenwriter version of me is just really jealous of like the freedom and like fun of that concept. Like, I could never think that up. I'm a pretty linear story, people drama story. And so it's so fun. I love that it has the 3 timelines. Like today, if you opened up a script with 3 timelines, they'd be like, don't do that. Right. Don't do that. Right. Too many things going on, too many characters. And like, it's just really effing fun. Like, such a fun concept.
Yeah, I think for me, when I was a kid, I really gravitated towards movies that had a physical component that you could get in real life. So, for example, there's another movie. I have not watched this movie in so long. It's probably has aged very badly, but there's this movie called Indian in the Cupboard. And my mom, so I had the VHS, the clamshell, and it included a little key. But my mom, because she knew I was so obsessed with it, she bought me, like, it was exact replica of this cupboard. And so that was one thing. And then for Jumanji, I always dreamed of having the board game. I'm actually
old enough that I read the book.
Oh, wow.
I read the book, Indian in the Cupboard.
Yeah, I forgot it was a book. Yeah. But so that was sort of my physical relic for that. And then for Jumanji, I always wanted the game, and eventually we had the game. So I think there's something about tying it to like a real object that I like had in my room as a kid that I don't know, I felt like I was in the movie, or this could maybe really happen.
Yeah, it could really happen. I was so driven by, like, it's just was so crazy. I remember, like, I think I like told a friend, I was like, I bet if we dig, we will just like dig up the game. It'll happen for us.
Yeah.
Did you see it on video, or were you old enough to have seen it in the theaters? Probably not, right?
Maybe I was like a 10 or like 11. I think I was still pretty young. I don't remember seeing it. All I remember doing is genuinely being in my backyard. I had to be a little bit younger because I had a different house. I can see the backyard I was in. And I was like, I'm going to dig it up, guys. This is what's going to happen.
Right here.
Yes. I'm like, it's obviously this would just make perfect sense for it to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember how old I was. I know I was very young. I think I didn't have it on VHS, but I feel like this was a movie that was rented many times. And then, over the years I would catch glimpses of it on TV, but like revisiting it just recently was the first time I've watched it in a really long time, and there were so many things that I had just misremembered, or I was like, oh, interesting. And the funny thing about Jumanji as well, in terms of this being a screenwriting episode, is the new Jumanji, the reboot, has now, like, I think it's really fun. But that movie changed the course of open writing assignment board game IP movies, because if screenwriters are listening, this is like a joke, but like every time you pitch on a movie, whether it's Monopoly or whatever is the latest IP, people always say, oh, we want to do like a Jumanji. Like everyone says that, and it's like they're talking about the new one because it sort of did this larger than life, sucked into the thing, and but now, having rewatched that movie much more recently, and then rewatching the original, there's just like this analog to the original that I like so much more, because it's not digital, but it messed up my brain. I was like, oh my God, in the original, they're not going to go into the game and into the forest till the third act. And then I was like, oh, they don't go in. It's just like the world comes to them. Like my wires had gotten crossed, but there's an analogness to the original of like, you have to carry the game around, and there's no like digital screen that pops up. And like, I understand we had to modernize it and all that, but like the analogness to the fact that it's a board game movie, which is an analog cardboard thing, it's just like, I prefer that.
Yeah, it made it, there were so many obstacles in that script. It was all related to someone holding on to the game as like being the power play. I also, God, I really love when I watch like a movie from like the 90s and the messaging is still like when the little boy is crying because he needs to get his tail out, and and Robin Williams is like, I still became my dad. And like that being like the thing, and it's just like that is like such an important lesson that I'm sure as a child, I had no fucking clue as a kid what I was doing, but like that is such like a valuable takeaway from this movie. Oh
yeah, the little monkey boy, like it breaks my heart.
He's so freaking cute.
So funny. So I just want to I'm going to name the other movies that were playing in 1995 around the time of Jumanji.
Cool.
Okay? All right. So this is November, December 1995. You have Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls, The American President, GoldenEye, Casino, Toy Story, Father of the Bride Part 2, Heat, Nixon,
oh, wow.
Cutthroat Island, Grumpier Old Men, Waiting to Exhale, 12 Monkeys, Dead Man Walking, and Mr. Holland's Opus.
Wow.
What a slate to be going to the movies for.
Insane.
Heat alone.
And that was just the highlights. That was just the highlights.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make me feel like there were more movies in theaters than there are today?
Absolutely. There 100% were. You could go to a movie theater and literally just say like, what do I want to see? And you could go see Nixon if you were in the mood, or a Heat, or I didn't even mention, but Jean-Claude Van Damme had a movie called Sudden Death around this time. And there were comedies and family movies and action movies and dramas. There were so many more things than just now. It feels like there's just either event movies or animated movies. That basically feels like all there is. And maybe you get a Materialists or, a Honey Boy or something here and there. But the variety of big studio movies back then was so much more.
The phones have done so many bad things for us, but I do think there's something so lost in like that there really was at a point just one form of like a screen for your eyeballs to pay attention to. Yep. Like that's why I love a movie theater so much now, because like it really is the one time that I know I'm not going to pick up that phone and be distracted from the thing that I'm about to enjoy, because I'm bad about it.
Yeah.
Do you also, just out of curiosity, collect and watch newer films that get put on VHS as a novelty, or are you kind of more of a Time Machine VHS person?
Yeah, Time Machine VHS. Okay. I follow Katie Video on Instagram. She's so great, and I want to have her on the show. But no, I don't have any like new movies on VHS.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How many do you have?
I have over 1,700.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's a little insane.
That's crazy. It's so funny. A couple years ago, I got like a CRT, or is it called CRT TV? And it's like an old like VHS TV that you can pop the.
Oh, the one that has it in there.
Yeah. I hunted around on Facebook Marketplace and got one, and like I was just like, oh, I'll go to my house and see my parents have some VHS tapes that I was like, don't throw these away. So my collection started with just the old movies I had. And I don't collect Blu-ray, I don't collect DVD, because I like any of that stuff, because I just feel like, well, I know streaming is not real and it could go away, but like if I start collecting that stuff now, then I have to build an entire collection. But VHS, I have grown a VHS collection now, and I have. Oh yeah. I feel like there's just have you been to the one in Burbank, the VHS store there? It's great. Yes.
Rewind?
Like I used to live in Burbank, and every time I would go there, I don't know, it's like there's a certain nostalgic type of movie where I'm like, oh yeah, I want to see that on VHS. Like especially a bad horror movie, or like anything that's like crazy campy and just like off the wall. It is it's like, and now I have like way too many VHS tapes, but it is.
I have Train Spotting if you want it on VHS.
Oh, I would love that.
Nice. I got that too. So it was released on December 15th, 1995. The budget was 65 million, and it made a little over 100 million in the United States, but 262 million worldwide.
Wow.
And
Go JUMANJI.
yeah. And it was directed by Joe Johnston, who made Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Just love it. And he also made The Rocketeer before Jumanji. And then after, he made, among other movies, October Sky.
Oh, whoa. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Jurassic Park 3 and Captain America, the First Avenger.
Oh, I forgot he did.
My friend has a 2-year-old. They live in like Arizona. That's irrelevant to this. All he will watch is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. You know how like kids get really like their hyperfixation film?
Yes.
That's all that he wants to watch. And I'm like, I actually love that for him because it's so much better than like the over animated chaoticness that like is on their TVs today. Love. And
that's kind of another wish fulfillment kind of movie where like what would it be like for you if you shrunk in your own house? You know, I have all this stuff around me. What you don't see on the other side are all of my Blu-rays and DVDs and CDs and cassettes. I've saved everything in magazines. It's a little out of control, but that's what I love about Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It's just so great in that way.
Yeah, and I think also kind of does, I mean, I haven't revisited that one in a while, but also kind of a scariness to it of like kids in peril and like kind of shockingly, intense. There was also a...
Yeah, like someone could step on it.
Totally.
Like, it was a real, like, you know what I mean? Like,
there's the lawnmower.
Oh, yeah.
And the
Oh, man.
Yeah. And dad almost eating it when he's in the cereal.
Yeah.
Dad almost eating him. Yeah.
Well, whenever there's like a fashion style that's come back for like guys, and they look like the neighbor dad. You know, he was like wearing a fisherman outfit. Yeah. Like that is like a very big vibe for men these days.
Wow. Good to know.
Yes. If you want to fashion up the look, that's it.
Yeah. Well, but there also has to be, I think, the commonality between these two is that there has to be some kind of threat. Right? Because if it's just wish fulfillment, if it's just kind of like, oh, this is so cool, I'm small, or there's animals, loose in my world, then there's no real danger. And we have to be wondering or worrying, what happens if they get hurt or die? Like, could Robin Williams, what would happen to him? Does he have to go back into the game? Like, that's the thing I always was thinking about watching this movie. Like, what was his life like in the game?
It is interesting that we don't get to see. Yeah, it is, and it's like, oh, I totally understand in the reboot why they're like, we need to go in right away, or that's the first act break, because it's like we never really got to see that. And it is funny, all the images in my head of just remembering it, I was like, oh yeah, we're eventually going to go in and see like where he lives and all that. But it's also interesting, the end of this movie, the way that they wrap it up and kind of go back in time, like it's this time travel thing, but not really.
Normally, I would hate that, because normally I don't love when a movie ends and it was all a dream. But like this, to me, it felt like it all happened. It all did happen, and then they wait to meet these kids again, which like I was like, that all
and then,
was
like,
real. Like,
saving the parents, like don't go on the trip. Like I was like, it's an interesting way to wrap it up.
Oh, that was the button that I loved. Like, oh, God. But you know what? As I get older and, again, my logistics brain takes over, I was like, no cop, no one rolled the dice on this fucking game while it was just sitting out there after she got chased out by bats. There are, like, little things. But then I'm like, but the movie's so good that I actually do not care. Like, you cannot convince me otherwise.
Yeah, I had some issues with the movie, but one of the things I loved is that it somehow managed to wrap up in a satisfying way 2 timelines.
Yeah.
Both young Alan's timeline and older Alan's timeline. And you're right. Having the parents not die and meeting the kids was actually really unexpected for me, because I did not remember that happened. One of the things I loved about Robin Williams' performance is that he doesn't go full, like, I'm a kid in an adult's body in the modern world, like he maybe did with Jack or some other movies like he could have. He's pretty restrained for him.
Yeah, like I feel like, the opening, like when he gets back, he's looking for his parents, and like that's the heartbreak of being a kid. But then he so quickly takes them under his wing that it's like, oh yeah, I guess you did spend, is it 27 years or whatever, like in the jungle. And that was like it was jarring when he like says it to her at the door, and he's like, the boy that disappeared 27 years ago. And I was like, oh my God, like that is your life. Like, that was just gone.
Yeah, and I think that's on the director, right? Like, he obviously... I feel like Robin Williams' inclination probably was to do a bigger, goofier, caricature, and once again, false memory in my head. I had memories of him being crazy in this movie, but it's like we do kind of get over that pretty fast, and he takes on the more responsible role, and like he also cleans up faster than I remember in the movie. Like it's so interesting, like the way your brain processes these things you watched over and over when you're younger, and then revisiting. Yeah,
absolutely. This is definitely one of those movies that I can see, had I seen it when I was younger, connecting with. There are movies that I connect with that I don't even care really if they're bad, because the experience that it drew out in me as a kid is what I hold on to. So the film was written by his 3 credited screenwriters. One is Jonathan Hensleigh, who normally I don't talk about the screenwriters, but since you guys are screenwriters, let's talk about the screenwriters for a second. So Jonathan Hensleigh wrote Die Hard 3 and The Saint, Armageddon. He worked on Young Indiana Jones, and he wrote and directed the 2004 version of The Punisher.
Oh my God, I love that movie.
With Tom Jane and John Travolta. Yeah.
Wow.
Among many other movies.
Yeah.
But then the other 2 guys who are credited are Greg Taylor and Jim Strain. And both primarily have kind of like what you would call Hallmark movies or Lifetime movie credits, Christmas movies and romances. But Greg Taylor before this wrote Prancer, the Christmas movie about the girl who meets Prancer the reindeer. Do you know this movie?
I don't know that.
No.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a romance
Harriet
the...
No.
Harriet the Spy.
Harriet the Spy, yeah.
Oh, I love Harriet the Spy.
I did know that one.
Yeah.
Ugh, love.
Yeah.
This is like it's not terrible. It's just like the true, keeping a career in this industry is just so hard. Like this to me, like, I don't know why Jumanji is like, it's because I saw it at some pivotal moment in my life. But like, it's so high up there that I'm like, those people would be booked and busy for the rest of their lives. They're making Oscar-winning things. I don't know. And it's like, no, like they're and also, again, to their IMDb, we have no idea, actually. They're probably very happy with all the scripts they haven't written and all the money that they've made.
Well, also, they are credited as, like, for the new Jumanjis as based on characters by, right? So they got that going on.
Get that paycheck.
That's really nice. Yeah, that is a nice.
And the score is by one of my favorite composers, James Horner. James Horner did the scores for Legends of the Fall, Braveheart, Apollo 13. In 1 year, in 1995, he did Braveheart, Casper, Apollo 13, Jumanji, Jade, and Balto, all in 1995.
Wow. Oh my God.
He was very prolific.
Wow.
And then
good for him.
And he won the Oscar for Titanic a couple years later. I'm a big film score nerd. I used to listen.
That's amazing.
I used to listen to film scores like doing my homework or, just all the time throughout my life. He passed away in 2015, I think, from a plane crash or something. But
oh my God.
Yeah, like a small plane.
That's why no small planes, no helicopters, guys.
Right. But he's responsible for creating the Jumanji drum.
Oh, that's iconic.
Which I didn't know. It is iconic.
I told Nick this morning, I was like, it's giving me like a aneurysm right now. Like, I'm so stressed about hearing it.
Well, that's the thing that I didn't realize at first. I was like, because when Adam Hahn Bird like walks into the construction site and there's these construction workers around and nobody's saying anything. I'm like, what is going on? Do they not hear this sound as well? But apparently it's just a kid thing.
Yes. And it's just like apparently like the kids that they want to play. I love that like they were playing the same game from, I don't know what year it is, like 1961 or
1969?
Yeah, I was just like, and he like realizes that they're playing his game.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, that is scary.
It's kind of like you were saying earlier, though. It was an interesting choice to start in one timeline, then jump to another timeline, and then jump to the present day timeline. I feel like that first timeline wasn't really needed. But I know the older kid in that first timeline when they're trying to bury the game, that's Cyrus Thedeke, who plays Caleb, we grew up together. Like we were in elementary school because the movie shot in Vancouver, a lot of it in Vancouver, which is where I grew up, Vancouver, Canada.
Oh my God. I was like looking at the I Love an IMDb trivia moment, and I was like looking at that, and I had seen like how much it was in Vancouver. That's wild.
Yeah.
I actually looked him up because I was like, he looks like another actor. That kid, and I was like, is he still acting today? He wasn't, but no. He looks like another actor. I actually loved that because I think that was like a time period that, like, at whatever age I saw this, like 10, really freaked me out.
Yeah.
Like witches, anything of like the 1800s, 1700s, I was like, this is dark. This is real dark.
Yeah. What do you think about skipping to the 1969 timeline? Because at first I thought, they're just going to get through this really quickly to get to Robin Williams, but it's such a major part of the movie. And that kid, Adam Hahn Bird, who plays young Alan, he was previously, before this, he was in Jodie Foster's directorial debut, Little Man Tate. And he didn't actually go on to do very much more after this, but the resemblance that he has to Robin Williams is amazing.
Yeah. It was so good.
Yeah.
And like, I think that's like the emotional crux of this entire story, like this dad, and like that he can't stand his dad. And the dad also being Van.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that. Van Pelt?
Yes, it's so silly. It's to like the hook that I loved, where it's like the bad guy here is the bad guy there.
Or like a Wizard of Ozzy a little bit.
I just, guys, again, I think it has a place in my heart where I'm like, there are flaws in this movie and I don't care. I love it.
It's also the emotion that changes from seeing him as a kid, but then spending time with him as Robin Williams and then going back. And like, I don't know, there's something really like Robin Williams makes that just so magical.
The only problem I had with the 1969 stuff with the bullies, the bullies seemed like very cliched bullies. Yeah. You can like, anytime you hear bullies saying like, get him, yeah, in the audio, you just have them like riding their bikes and chasing him down. And then the bully thing doesn't really pay off in any kind of real
like that
way,
she just
right?
Comes over,
except that Britt gets her
to convince her to come over. The other issue my logistical brain had, one of the kids was like, I got his bike, and I was like, but you all rode bikes together. Like you can't ride two bikes. Yeah. That was one of mine. I was like, that doesn't work.
Right. And does he have some kind of special bike, or are they just taking his bike to fuck with him?
Just fuck with him, poor kid. I also do love that they didn't the fight. You don't see a minute of the fight.
They go behind the thing.
Scuffle.
Yes.
Yeah. And the like dust, and then it's just like the lip in the eye.
Yeah, and then he immediately has a black eye because that signifies that he got the shit kicked out of him. I was actually surprised this time how long it took to get to Robin Williams. It's almost 30 minutes of the movie. And so how do you guys feel about the setup of the movie and getting to that? Is that how you remembered, or do you just like bask in all of the greatness of the movie, like you don't even care what's happening?
I mean, yeah, my memory of it was mostly everything that happens after the 30-minute mark, which is but yeah, I mean, that feels like moving into the second act, like screenwriter brainy, like that's like on the mark. Like maybe nowadays you would maybe want to hit it more like 25 minutes in a 90-minute movie, but it is interesting how long they take to set it all up, and it's they've got to hit all these timelines.
Well, and that like you're thinking, like I guess if you go in at that time and you're like, this movie has been marketed as a Robin Williams movie, you're kind of like, where's Robin Williams?
Yeah.
I don't know why I so vividly remember. I though love a period, like anything period is like my dream to write, and so I think like those portions just do stick out to me. But I would spend endless hours with Robin Williams if that was at all an option.
I just love that he goes into the construction site, pulls this huge box out of the ground. No one says a thing. Not a thing. And they're there. They're walking around. The most he gets is like a look from somebody, and then he just kind of takes off, you know?
You know what else was wild to me? How much this was like a company town. Those are also a hyperfixation of mine. Yeah. Because then when he's running through town, I didn't notice this as a kid, but it is like a dark place to be. A lot of homeless people, they've got like the fire things that they're all putting their hands over, and I was like, I do not remember that like the crux of this town being well was the shoe factory, but apparently yes.
Yeah. How do you feel about the VFX?
They didn't age great.
The monkeys, especially.
Yeah, it is crazy seeing that stuff with like modern eyes, you know.
Yeah.
It's just so fascinating to me how some movies, there are some films, like I rewatched Starship Troopers, and I was like, this looks great. Like it's so interesting how sometimes it ages really well and sometimes it just doesn't age well at all.
I will say that the integration of VFX and live action stuff is pretty seamless. I mean, I never once, you know, when the monkeys are throwing the cups around or when the elephants are stampeding, like I never once felt like they were kind of out of sync.
The lion and the alligator are like, so, I mean, I know they're not VFX, but like those are like the peak moments. And I'm like, that is just like a man in a lion suit. I'm not entirely sure what's happening here.
Yeah, it was a good integration of what at the time was, you know, early CGI and live action stuff, you know, the close up of the lion coming out of the darkness. That's real.
Yeah.
That looks like, you know, a real mask, you know.
It was cool.
I have a question for you guys. Is it wrong to ask what the point of the actual Jumanji game is?
Oh, do you mean like where it came from?
Or like, do you mean the literal point, like the objective of the actual board game?
Yes. Yes.
Like just to torture people.
Yes, really, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the flashback I want to see. The guy who came up with the game and is like, wow.
Yes.
Hey, that could be a reboot or a prequel.
That could be a, yes.
There you go. There's your prequel.
That would be a really good prequel. And I do love that it was like, at first they were like, it's magnets. And then it was like, microchips. Like that was the description for how the game worked each time it opened. No, torture. I have no idea why that would ever be a thing created. Also, where is it from? Is it from like ancient Egypt?
Yeah, it's funny when I was doing some research and just kind of Googling around, like some website that did a retrospective or something had referred to it as like a cursed game, which I'm like, yeah, I guess it fits that trope, but yeah, I guess we never really know. I would imagine that at some point when they wrote it, they had like maybe an idea or maybe something was in there. Nowadays, studios would probably be like, we need to know a little something.
What was your guys' favorite? Mine is the monsoon.
Rewatching it, the most like iconic image that refreshed in my brain was just the monkey boy.
Oh yeah, the monkey boy.
And then he like cheated because he was trying to
finish
the game.
Yeah. I loved when they came back to the house and it had been overtaken by the vines and it was like a totally different world. Yeah.
That was cool.
And then the monsoon with the alligator and everything, that really took it up a notch.
You know what I loved, guys? When she closes the door after the bats chase her, and then the time changes and the door gets like rusted and old. Those little things.
I love those kinds of transitions.
Yeah, I'm like, that was good.
Yes, and I'm glad that Bonnie Hunt plays the girl. I forget her name. What's her name?
Sarah Whittle.
Whittle. Yeah, I love that Bonnie Hunt plays her. She's just always fun to watch and brings such a great energy to the role. And you know, her initial reaction when she sees the game, like she is really freaking out.
I was surprised by all the therapy stuff. That was surprising.
I love that she was on the phone call for a long time too, like explaining. I was like, okay, long voicemail.
Yeah. And then of course there's David Alan Grier as the cop who will not give up his car. That was like a really funny running gag of just the car gets like shot and destroyed and he just keeps on going with it.
Yeah, and what's the line he says, like when he first gets the car blown up and he gets back in, he's just like, man, this is crazy. And then he just like goes right after it.
The scene where Van Pelt goes into the gun shop is crazy.
So American. I was like, oh god damn it.
That was insane.
That I feel like that would probably be cut out of the like from the script stage. Like there's no way that scene would ever make it.
And like I don't know about you guys. I'm unaware of like the value of gold. I was like, how much does that equate to dollars right now?
Right.
I was like, I'm not entirely sure how much money he was just giving me.
Right. And and thank you for giving us these gold coins. We'll just give you the worst gun we have.
Yeah, literally. I was like, this. Also, I'm like, he knows how to use. Like, I don't know. He was just like, yeah, this is my gun
Just
now.
pull the trigger. Yeah. Amazing.
God.
The other thing I noticed is the production design, not just of the house, but when they're at the store and it gets kind of Home Alone-y with like the paint cans and the tires. I was like, that's a lot of stuff. You gotta the car smashes through shelf after shelf of stuff.
Yes.
Teddy bears and
That's fun.
I love all that stuff.
When I was again Googling around, I found this weird thing I've never heard of, which is allegedly an official spin-off sequel called Zathura.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't figure out if it's the same thing that TikTok went viral for, where people were making up their own.
On Wikipedia, it said that it was like because Jumanji's based on this like illustrated kids book, and I think it's like it's technically the same universe, so it's technically a Jumanji spin-off. But I've never even I was like, what? Like I'd never even heard of this. So now I have to.
So
yeah,
Zathura is a Jon Favreau movie. He directed it. And it's also based on a book or a short story by Chris Van Allsburg, who wrote Jumanji and The Polar Express. And my understanding is that Zathura is not. It's just based on a Van Allsburg story, but it's not in the same universe as Jumanji. Like it doesn't have any of the same characters. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think it said it was a spinoff on Wikipedia, but maybe the studio edited that. They're trying to like create a larger connected IP.
More lore. A little bit more lore.
Yeah.
But so random.
Oh, picks up where Jumanji left off.
But it doesn't have any story connective tissue, right? At all.
Yeah.
No.
That is so
it's a totally
strange.
different story. Do you think it's odd that this movie never got a sequel?
It got a TV show, right? Like an animated TV show or something.
Jumanji?
I think so. I think that was also when I Googled it. That was also like, what?
An animated TV series.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. I didn't know that.
No,
either.
I think it is crazy that it didn't get a sequel because
Or a prequel.
Yeah, there's one of my buddies has this podcast called What Went Wrong, where they go into the production of these movies in depth, and I just texted him and I was like, have you guys done Jumanji? Because you should. Because I'm sure that set, making that movie was crazy. But I would wonder, if it was a situation where somebody at some point got paid to write a sequel, but maybe it was like, we'll only do this if Robin comes back, and maybe like I could see him not maybe wanting to do it. Because there's no way, right, that they never thought about doing it.
Yeah, and I think that would have been, that is kind of like we said, like the unanswered question of like, what was his life like in the game? How did he survive, and how did he become this character that we see with the beard and the the leaves and all that?
That could be like a Blacklist script.
Yeah.
It's about Robin when he's in the jungle. I guess it would just kind of retread a lot of Jumanji, but
at this point it would be kind of a moot. But back at that time, and I guess it just shows, like, even though there were tons of sequels at that time, that list of movies that I read, how many sequels and IP movies were in that?
Was Ace Ventura?
Ace Ventura.
Toy Story was the original. That's wild.
GoldenEye, Father of the Bride 2, Grumpier Old Men, 4 out of all those humongous movies. It just was not as common, I guess, back then.
Yeah.
Okay, well, guys, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I have so many more questions about your podcast and about screenwriting.
We'll come back at some
save
point.
them for another time.
Yeah, we'll come back.
Yes, absolutely.
This was really fun. Usually we just talk about screenwriting stuff, so the Jumanji angle was really fun. Yeah,
very exciting.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's my whole thing. Is I just love talking about movies in general, but especially the movies that I grew up on or you grew up on, and I love hearing, especially with a movie like this, where like I don't have the same connection to this movie that you guys do, but I love hearing about why it's so special to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will hear you on your podcast, and thank you again for doing this. It's been really great talking to you guys.
Nice to meet
thank
you.
you so much. Have a
Thank
good
you.
weekend.
Yeah, you too. Yeah. All right. Talk to you
Bye.
later.
Bye.
Okay, that was Nick and Kristen. Thank you so much again, guys, for being on the show. It's really great to talk to them. If you like this video and you want to see more content like this, subscribe to the channel. I've got new episodes posting every week, interviews with great people about great movies. So thanks for your support. I'll see you next time.